Good morning, science learners. Today we are going to work on finishing what is a variable, which was our bread experiment where we took the pieces of bread and we did the 4 different things to them. And I need you to turn in your journal. In my table of contents, it was page 6, and it had a chart on it that looked something like this, and it had what is a variable at the top. And I went ahead and made another copy of my chart that's a little bit bigger. And so your chart should look like this. If you did the experiment with me, then all you need to do is pay attention and follow along. If you did the experiment on your own, you should get down those pieces of bread that you've wrapped in those different items and take a look at each piece. What I need you to do for each piece, where it says wax paper, plastic bag, paper, and uncovered, I need you to make some sensory observations. Sensory observations is when you use your senses, your sense of sight, your sense of smell. Please don't eat them, so we're not going to even do sense of taste, sense of hearing and sense of touch, to make observations about the bread. For example, by sight, you ought to be tell me what the piece is shaped like, or if it has changed colors, or if it is compressed. I had a lot of people tell me that their bread had compressed when we did this in my face-to-face classes. By smell, you should tell me if there's a change in smell. By hear, I had a lot of people telling me they crumbled and they could hear it crumble, the crumbling noise and crackling noise that came with each piece. And then by touch, wow, there's a lot by touch that we got as observations. So you could do dry, you could do wet, you could do all sorts of different things by touch. Touch tends to be the biggest category in the 5th grade. So we're going to fill out our chart, and I'm going to share with you what your classmates here at school found in their observations. So you need to turn to that page, and I'm going to start us out in the wax paper one. In the wax paper, so you take it and you unwrap it, and you're looking at the piece of bread. Your classmates found that it smelled dry. It smelled dry, like all the moisture had been taken out, and it felt crumbly. So I'm going to write this in and then share it with you. And that it was hard. It was hard and definitely smaller than it had been before. Let's take a minute. You can pause me if you need to. Write in the chart. It smelled dry. It felt crumbly. It was hard, and it was smaller. Smaller than it had been, right? All right, for the plastic bag one, take a minute. Pause me if you need to. If you've got it there, you can pull it out of your plastic bag. You make your own observations. That's absolutely fine, or you can just follow along with me. Your classmates said it smelled the same. Smelled fresh. They noticed that it was soft and moist. They also said that it was the same size as before and the same color. So take a minute. You can pause me if you need it. Our piece in the plastic bag smelled fresh, was soft and moist. It was the same size as before and the same colors. All right. For the paper, we make sure if you have it, you unwrap it from the paper and you make those sensory observations, right? Your classmates said that it smelled dry. That it was very hard and solid. Almost like a block, right? It was not flexible at all. And it was very crummy. They got a lot of crumbs off that one. We had to wipe them up with paper towels. All right. So you're in your paper bag. It smelled dry. It was very hard and solid. It was not flexible. And it was very crummy. All right, my last piece was the uncovered piece. And most of the classes that did this with me face to face found that this uncovered piece was the hardest piece of all. So I'm going to write that in. It's the hardest of all. It smelled slightly moldy. Oh no. It was very dry and not soft. All right. So my uncovered piece was the hardest of all. It smelled slightly moldy. It was very dry and not soft. So you should have filled out all 4 boxes. This is my journal page. It looked something like this. And so we can come down here and do our claim and evidence space. And I did that as well down here so you could see it. So what do we think happened in this experiment? I think what? I think each piece of bread reacted differently based on what? Each piece of bread reacted differently based on what? What they were wrapped in, their package. I think each piece of bread reacted differently based on their package. All right, now we need proof. What happened in the experiment? If this is our class claim, I think each piece of bread reacted differently based on their package. What proof in our experiment can we bring up to do that? Well, think about the hardest piece and think about the softest piece. What was the softest piece wrapped in? The plastic bag. The plastic bag kept the piece soft, while the uncovered piece was the hardest. Is that proof that the bread reacted differently based on what it was wrapped in? Sure it is. That's just proof that they reacted differently. But the name of the experiment wasn't, what should I wrap bread in? The name of the experiment was, what is a variable? So what is a variable? In science, a variable is what a scientist changes to test. So what did we change? A lot of people said, Miss Hudson, we changed the bread. No, we didn't change the bread. We got the same slice of bread and we cut it into 4 pieces. So it's not the bread that changed. What is it that changed in our experiment? What we wrapped it in, right? So right here above variable, in your journal, I want you to write the word changed. I want you to write the word changed. Because a variable in science is what the scientist changes to test. Do you get it? We changed what each piece was wrapped in and to test which one would stay the freshest or not freshest, right? Make sure here at the bottom, you write me 2 questions, okay? Anything else you want to test about variables? See you later, science learners.